Los Angeles International Airport, March 11, 2014, Tuesday morning. A woman named Maria Santos steps off Avianca Flight 8 from Bogotá and walks toward customs looking completely unremarkable. She's 47, simple clothing, one carry-on bag, calm expression. She clears the first checkpoint without a second glance. She collects her bag. She walks through customs. She's 15 feet from the exit when federal agents step in front of her. The arrest takes 11 seconds. What they find underneath her clothing shocks even experienced Homeland Security agents. Over 4 kilograms of raw gold engineered into a custom bodysuit, so precisely designed that it passed through airport security undetected. 31 times. Same airports, same TSA checkpoints, same body scanners. How does one woman walk 4 kilograms of gold through LAX security 31 consecutive times without a single alarm triggering? And what finally gave her away on trip 32? Start with the most important question. Why didn't airport security catch her? The answer isn't that TSA is incompetent. The answer is that Maria Santos was specifically designed, in terms of profile, appearance, and behavior, to be the last person anyone looks at twice. She's 47 years old, female, holds permanent U.S. residency, lives in Los Angeles, travels the Bogotá LAX route regularly visiting family in Colombia, which is a completely normal and common travel pattern for thousands of people every single week on that route. She dresses in department store brands, nothing expensive, nothing cheap. Reading glasses she doesn't actually need, but that soften her face into something grandmotherly. A paperback novel tucked under her arm. In 2010, when her operation starts, TSA threat assessment focuses heavily on young males, nervously behaved passengers, and specific high-risk travel patterns. A middle-aged woman returning from visiting family in Colombia triggers exactly 0 automated flags in that system. She knows this. Her handlers know this. The entire operation is engineered around this single fact, but her physical profile is only half the strategy. Her behavior at checkpoints is the other half. And this is where Maria is genuinely exceptional. She never fumbles. Fumbling triggers attention. At security lines, she removes shoes, jacket, and laptop before being asked. He moves through with the bored efficiency of someone who's done this 1,000 times, because she has. She positions herself in lines staffed by younger officers, or those she's watched moving quickly. Not the slowest line, not the fastest. The middle, busy enough that individual scrutiny is reduced, slow enough that nobody's rushing. She arrives at security when crowds are moderate, not peak rush hour when overwhelmed agents cut corners, not quiet stretches when bored officers have nothing to do but look carefully at passengers. She's calculated this over 4 years of observation. Her one genuine psychological vulnerability is the 15 seconds between placing her bin on the X-ray belt and collecting it on the other side. The moment when she's walking through the body scanner carrying 4 kilograms of illegal gold, and there's nothing she can do except keep moving forward. She manages this with a mental technique she develops herself. She thinks exclusively about something mundane she needs to do after landing, picking up groceries, calling her landlord, something ordinary and real that keeps her face showing nothing except mild travel impatience. Federal investigators who study her case after arrest put it plainly in court documents. Her checkpoint behavior was more disciplined than some trained government couriers they'd encountered. Nobody taught her this. She built it herself over 4 years. Each trip teaches her something. She adjusts, she refines, she gets harder to catch. This is why 31 trips succeed. The behavioral invisibility gets her to the scanner. The equipment gets her through it. Most amateur gold smugglers do exactly what you'd imagine. They tape gold bars to their bodies under clothing. It's crude. It creates obvious bulk. It shifts weight unnaturally when they move. Experienced security officers learn to read bodies the way doctors read X-rays. They notice when weight distribution doesn't match what clothing suggests. These carriers get caught constantly. Maria's setup is engineered at a completely different level. Her undergarment is constructed from medical-grade compression fabric. the exact same material used in post-surgical recovery garments. This specific fabric type is flagged in TSA protocols for zero additional screening because it's associated with legitimate medical use. Patients recovering from abdominal surgery, back procedures, and orthopedic operations wear these garments through airports every single day. Pulling every person in medical compression wear for additional screening would mean pulling hundreds of passengers per flight. Inside this fabric, her handlers have built 34 individual pockets of different sizes, each containing a precisely shaped gold piece. The gold itself isn't standard bars or coins. It's processed into flexible composite strips, gold alloyed with small amounts of other metals to create flexibility without meaningfully reducing purity. These strips move with her body rather than sitting rigidly against it. The weight distribution is mathematically calculated. Heaviest pieces run along her lower back, where the human body naturally carries load. Medium pieces wrap her ribcage following its natural contour. Lighter strips run along her outer thighs. The total package, over 4 kilograms of raw gold, registers to both visual observation and body feel like a supportive medical garment, rather than foreign objects strapped to a person. Here's why the scanner specifically misses it. Standard airport body scanners in 2010 through 2014 are calibrated to detect concentrated density signatures, the sharp outline of a gun, the rectangular density block of a knife, the distinct chemical signature of explosive compounds. What they're not optimized for is distributed weight spread evenly across a large body surface area in pieces thin enough to avoid concentration. Maria's gold distributed across 34 pockets in thin strips looks to the scanner's density reading, like the natural variation of a human body in layered clothing. There's no single point where the density spikes into an alarm-triggering signature. She also carries a legitimate Colombian prescription for a lumbar compression garment in case any officer asks about what they're seeing. She never needs to use it. In 31 trips over 4 years, not one officer gets close enough to require an explanation. She practices wearing the full load for 3 days before every trip. Walking, sitting, reaching, bending. Any movement that creates visible outline or unnatural posture gets reported to her handlers, who adjust the garment before departure. After trip 15, she stops practicing. She's that confident. The equipment and the behavior work because of the route underneath them, and the route is just as carefully engineered as everything else. Maria operates a specific corridor, illegal gold mining operations in Colombia's Antioquia region, purchased at roughly 30% below international spot price, carried through LAX, sold to buyers in Los Angeles' downtown jewelry district at full market value. The price gap between where the gold starts and where it ends is the entire business. Every kilogram she successfully carries through LAX generates approximately $12,000 in profit for the network. At 3 to 4 kilograms per trip, each run earns her handlers $36,000 to $48,000. Maria personally takes $800 to $1,200 per trip, serious money against her legitimate income. But a fraction of what the people above and below her in the chain pocket. She never knows the buyers directly. She delivers gold to a single contact who meets her after each arrival. Money comes back through her cousin. She knows her piece of the operation in precise detail and almost nothing else about the larger structure. This isn't accidental. Her handlers deliberately limit what each person knows. If Maria gets caught, she can only burn what she knows, which is the middle of the chain. Her routing varies systematically to avoid pattern recognition. She never takes the same airline twice in a row. She rotates between 3 carriers flying Bogotá to LAX. Every few trips she routes through Mexico City or Panama City, adding a connection that changes her point of origin stamp in customs databases. She spaces trips 4 to 7 weeks apart, frequent enough to generate income, spread enough to avoid the frequency flags that customs algorithms use to identify suspicious repeat travelers. Between 2010 and early 2014, This operation moves $1.4 million in smuggled gold through a single American airport. 31 successful runs. The network earns several million in total profit. Maria personally earns less than $40,000 across 4 years. She knows the math is uneven. She accepts it because the alternative, her legitimate income, doesn't solve the financial problems that brought her here. What she doesn't know, as 2013 turns into 2014 and she continues making runs with the same discipline and precision she's always applied, is that the operation has already been completely compromised. Federal agents already know her name, her schedule, her equipment design, and her complete travel history. They've known for 4 months. They're just waiting for the right moment to close it all at once. The person who told them everything is someone Maria trusts completely. In October 2013, Homeland Security Investigations gets a call from a federal prosecutor's office in Los Angeles. A man has been arrested on an unrelated smuggling charge and wants to negotiate. He has something valuable to trade, a complete gold smuggling operation running through LAX, including the courier's name, schedule, equipment details, bouquet and distribution contacts in the jewelry district. The man is Maria's cousin, the same person who recruited her in 2010, who explained the operation, who vouched for her to his handlers, who has been collecting a cut of every single trip she's successfully completed for 4 years. He gives investigators everything without hesitation. Maria's full name, her travel patterns, her upcoming trip dates, the design of her undergarment, the names of her Los Angeles contacts, the location of her Colombian suppliers, her payment structure, her complete history going back to her first run. HSI doesn't arrest Maria immediately. They spend 4 months building a case designed to collapse the entire network simultaneously rather than just catching one courier who will be replaced within weeks. They need Maria in the act, gold on her body at the moment of arrest, to make the physical evidence charge airtight. And they need time to coordinate warrants for the jewelry district buyers and the Colombian supply chain. During those 4 months, Maria makes 2 more trips. She clears LAX security both times, while federal agents watch from positions throughout the terminal. They let her walk out with the gold both times. Each successful trip adds to the documented charge count. Federal prosecutors later acknowledged this decision, allowing known crimes to complete, was legally and ethically complicated, but operationally necessary to build the full case. Maria has no idea any of this is happening. She does her preparation, she wears her equipment, she passes through security with the same practiced calm she's maintained for 4 years. As she delivers her gold, she goes home. On March 11, 2014, she boards Avianca Flight 8 in Bogotá, carrying 4.2 kilograms, her largest single load ever. She's confident. She's done this 31 times. She knows exactly what works. What she doesn't know is that 15 federal agents already know her seat number, her connecting gate, and exactly which exit she'll walk toward after customs. She clears the body scanner. She collects her bag from baggage claim. She moves through the customs hall. She's 15 feet from the exit doors when 2 HSI agents step directly in front of her and a third moves in behind. The arrest takes 11 seconds. Maria doesn't run. She doesn't speak. She doesn't argue. Investigators note in their report that her expression when agents identify themselves is not panic or anger. It reads as relief. The search recovers 4.2 kilograms of gold across her engineered undergarment, the largest single load she's ever carried. Value at that day's spot price, $168,000. Import duties evaded on this single trip, approximately $50,000. Simultaneously, HSI executes warrants at 3 addresses in Los Angeles' jewelry district. Agents recover $340,000 in additional gold and cash. Colombian authorities conduct coordinated operations in Medellin the same morning, hitting supplier locations HSI had identified from Maria's cousin's cooperation. The entire network, built and refined over 4 years, responsible for moving $1.4 million through a single American airport, collapses between 9 a.m. and noon on one Tuesday. Maria faces federal charges of smuggling, money laundering, and conspiracy in the Southern District of California. The case takes 14 months. She pleads guilty. The judge sentences her to 37 months in federal prison. Her cousin, the person who built the operation, recruited her, profited from every trip she completed, then handed her to federal investigators to save himself, receives a reduced sentence for cooperation. The jewelry district buyers collectively pay $220,000 in fines. No prison time. Their businesses keep operating. New suppliers replace Maria's network within months. Maria serves her sentence and is released in 2017. She spends 2 years fighting deportation proceedings before a judge rules she can remain in the United States. She lives in Los Angeles today. She doesn't speak publicly about any of it. The Bogotá LAX gold corridor still runs. HSI estimates it intercepts less than 15% of gold moving through this route annually. The price differential that made Maria's operation profitable hasn't changed. The profile she used, middle-aged woman, family travel route, medical compression garment, still works. The operation didn't end, it just found someone else to carry it.